switch back and forth. I actually like the sensitivity.
If there's something that seems like it doesn't.
The grand is just, I mean, it's
I
so
think
bright, and I feel it's
there's,
the action is interesting.
they have this one amplified.
Uh,
They have the grand amplified.
it just depends. I personally don't like to amplify acoustic instruments unless they're playing along with another instrument and it's getting drowned out. Then of course it makes sense. But I don't like, even the best times, I don't like this. It's just an odd. I'd rather have it and have the full, like, what's really soft.
You can make it.
Yes.
But I appreciate you coming.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to come. I mean, that's good. I haven't been playing nearly as much, so that's why it's great.
Do you think we should take like a phone call? We just ask her to come along.
It's, you mean for today? It is up to you. It's whichever way. It doesn't, because it won't affect me.
I'm just a listener.
Yeah, it won't affect me either way. So it's truly about you. So,
Smart. You're amazing.
That's
I'll listen to everything.
That's awesome.
Really appreciate everything.
That's good. I'm gonna go find a brush because it's so.
You bet.
Thank you. My hands are super small. So hilarious. So. Yes, yes.
Looks like just 4 people altogether. What? I think only 4 people. Just 4 was enough. Is this close enough? Okay. Yes, we did. We didn't go many places, but I went to
So we're gonna.
Your birthday is in April. When's your birthday? People remind you too, don't they? Okay, we're in vote three.
See, we have. Is that too much light on the screen? Let's turn
I guess I'm pretty okay. No, I grew up in Denver.
Do I take notes? I'm used to
I know, that's what I was trying to tell myself, this is not a 50-minute class.
I don't.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yes. You know what year you came? What year did you come here? It's cold, right? Cold anywhere.
Front row. Bless you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4:00 on the dot, so I'm going to be punctual. I'm normally used to preparing a 50-minute lecture, so I'm going to try to keep this in the 30-minute time slot. My name is Pam Haynes, and I am happy to present to you today my journey from first experiencing music at church in Sunday school to the concert stage, which is where I have settled with a lot of my piano playing. So let us begin. Thank you all for being here today, by the way, and hope you enjoy what I have for you. So I grew up in Denver, Indiana. This is in the next county over, and grew up in a home. I have a one brother, and that is it. And we attended Denver Baptist Church from the time that my parents first took me. So must have been in my first week of life, I would assume. And so that's where I was. And so most of the music I heard in my childhood came from church, and such things as "Do Lord, oh do you remember me?" Right, all those good things, and "Deep and Wide," and Amazing Grace, and some wonderful hymns of the faith. And I loved singing at church. My extended family has lots of pianists, guitarists, people that play dulcimer, banjo. So I heard a lot of that in my family as well. And so was surrounded by music. My parents did not perform or play music in our home. My father listened to country music, and my mother listened to whatever was on WARU, which was just your standard radio station out of Peru, Indiana. But I listened to a lot of records as a child, and the ones that stood out to me were the Disney records to Alice in Wonderland. And there's this wonderful chorus and orchestral music that was in that. And I think that's what's inspired me to go further and to go into the music that I enjoyed playing. So I didn't start to take piano lessons until I was 9. And I attended North Miami High School, or kindergarten through 12th grade, so the entire realm there. And my first music teacher was Ann Dillman, and I loved being in music class. Of course, I actually liked art more. Not sure why, but music class, loved it when we'd sing. And when I started to play the piano, I was allowed to play sometimes in class, and I love that. And so my choir instructor was Howard Whittlesey, and again, I learned so much from him. He taught me to sing well, and to really listen to what I was playing and what I sang. And then my band director, Jeff Pletcher, was the first one who looked at me, and when I told him I wanted to teach music, he's like, "You need to teach at the college level." And at that time I thought, what are you talking about? I have no idea what that would even be like. I just want to teach piano lessons. And so anyway, so I want to start off today though. When I first started to take lessons, it was from Connie Dowd, and she taught me for 1 year and then told my parents that I should go to somebody else, that I was going to not outperform her, but she wouldn't have anything more to teach me because I was learning so fast. And my greatest aptitude was for reading music. There's something about it when I was taught how to read it that just clicked. I don't play by ear well at all, but you can put anything pretty much in front of me and I can play it. Maybe not right away, but eventually. So I do all that as kind of a background, so you kind of know where I came from. I was first inspired by my cousin Max. So he was several years older than me. When I was in 6th grade is when he graduated high school, but he was a fine pianist and French horn player. And he loved to play the 3 preludes by George Gershwin. And so that's something that's stuck in my repertoire. So I want to kind of start off with a bang, if that's fine, and play some jazz for you. And I'm playing off of an iPad. You might be intrigued by this. So I have my music here. And then when I want to turn a page, I have this pedal that I step on and it turns the pages. Yeah. So now this first piece I'm going to play, I actually have it memorized, but the older I get, I don't trust my memory as much. So I'm going to have this up here just in case. So my next question for you all too is I can either play here so you can watch my hands, or I can be up on the stage. So any preference? Whatever feels good. Do you think up on the stage so you can hear more of the full sound? Okay, all right, here we go. Gershwin Prelude number 1. Yeah, okay. So give me a second to get set up, and then I will get going. Thank you very much. Get back to the microphone here so I can help you out. So, oh yeah, feel free to move that. There you go. So that's probably the most advanced thing you'll hear today, and as I'm playing. But I wanted to just kind of share. So that's what I was inspired by. As I had this cousin who was playing this amazing music, and I thought, oh, I want to be just like him. I want to be just like him. And so he, after he graduated from high school, I got in with who was his instructor, Mary Berkebile. Now, Mary has a twin, Ruth, and they both live in Peru, Indiana. They both teach piano and violin and organ. And so I started to take lessons from Mary when I was in 6th grade and stayed with her all the way until I left home. And she was amazing and brought so much out of me. And what I appreciated the most about her is she would give me really challenging literature to play that was beyond what my skill was. And because I think she knew that I wanted to solve it, I wanted to figure it out. And so she gave me a steady diet of all kinds of classical music because that's what my training was in. While at home, I would be playing all the pop tunes, Michael Jackson and the theme to Cheers and all these things from the 80s as well. So, and then meanwhile, while I was at church, I would be playing for church as well. So this was me when I was 10, a year after I started playing. And this is my Uncle Don on the left and his mother on the right. And so this was at my grandmother's house. By the way, my grandmother, Virginia Gilbert Bosbaugh, graduated from Manchester University. And she's the one who heard me messing around on her piano. And I'm sure it sounded something like this. Let me share with you my 8-year-old self. Something like, I'm sure, something like that. And she said to my mother, why don't you get her some lessons so we can hear some real music? And so that's why when I started playing at the age of 9. So thanks to my grandmother who saw that within me. So then when I first started playing, I'm going to play a few pieces I learned early on. I was very drawn to romantic and emotional music. And so I want to share with you some romantic preludes. They are only a page long, so they're very short. One of them is called Summer Storm, and the other one is Autumn Sketch. I'm going to play Autumn Sketch first. Autumn Sketch, you'll only hear one pitch at a time, so it's a very simple piece, but still can be very emotional. And one thing that I love to play and also teach to students is that you can play one note at a time, one pitch at a time, and still convey something very meaningful. So I'll play Autumn Sketch first, and then I will play Summer Storm, and that's where you will hear my teenage angst come out. So with that in mind, here's my high school senior photo, so with the piano. So here we go. Autumn Sketch, Summer Storm by the composer William Gillock. And I was wrong. This is called seascape. So think about a very angry sea in the ocean. So seascape, not summer storm. There's another one that's in a minor key and also very angry as well. So that is one of those pieces that I was really drawn to because you sound really advanced when you play it, but it's very simple patterns. And it made me feel just so, I'm a piano amazing superstar, right? And so definitely wanted that opportunity when I was in my teen years. So I graduated from North Miami. Like I said, I was a valedictorian of my class. And thank you. And I spent most of my senior year in the choir room or in the band room. So I got a lot of the other things out of the way. So then I applied to go to Indiana University or DePauw University, and I chose DePauw. And I chose it because it was a small liberal arts school. And I knew that I would get a lot of one-on-one and a lot of attention and opportunities, right? The opportunity to play. And so my first degree is in music education, choral. And when I went there, I knew that I played well, but I didn't have the confidence to be on the stage all the time. I found that I would get very nervous when I'd play from memory. However, if there was anybody else on the stage that was playing music at the same time, I was fine. No nerves at all. And so I was fantastic, and I still am. I'm told that it sounds weird, or it feels funny to say that I'm fantastic, but I've been told that I'm a great collaborative pianist. And that definitely is my main strength apart from being able to sight read well. And so I spent a lot of my time playing for vocalist and also for instrumentalist. It was my work study job to do that. And then in my first year there, I won our orchestra competition. There were 7 of us. And so I performed with orchestra playing Beethoven's third piano concerto, and very similar to the piece you just heard, the Summer Storm. It was in the same key, C minor, and very. I'll just play a theme so you can hear it. Wasn't part of my plan, but I want you to. So it starts off. Boy, I haven't played that in a while. Anyway, so that kind of built my confidence up to think, oh, I can perform. I just have to find my niche within it. So by the time that I student taught choir, I thought I don't want to teach high school, or I definitely didn't want to teach kindergarten through 6th grade. And so I applied for graduate schools and ended up going to, forgot to tell you about this important part. This also was very important in my life. I went and studied abroad in Vienna, Austria. This was my junior year at DePauw, and that changed my life as well. So it was both being able to perform with orchestra and having those opportunities to do that, but then being in the city where these great musicians worked and lived and walked, and going to the opera every week. And it was just, I thought classical music is what I love. And that's what I want to have as my daily life. And so I wasn't sure how that would end up, but came back, student taught, didn't want to keep doing that, and then went on to graduate school. So went to Ohio University, was fortunate to get a full ride and to be able to teach right away. So I taught piano classes. Need to back up and tell you, the first piano lesson I taught was when I was 16, is when I started to actually teach students. And I had a little like 5 or 6 students. And I joke that I should have been paying the parents instead of them paying me, because I really felt like I didn't know what I was doing, But that kind of gave me that taste of, I enjoy sharing music. I use it to connect. And I definitely enjoyed seeing a light bulb come on and somebody get excited to play Mary Had a Little Lamb or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And so when I was pursuing my master's degree, most of what I taught was non-music majors in piano class. So there would be around 10 students, all at digital pianos, keyboards, and we would start from square one saying, this is the piano keyboard. What do you see? White keys and black keys, right? We call them keys. And the black keys are in a certain pattern, groups of 2 and 3. And so we would just step by step. I would teach people how to play. And I was definitely thought everybody could learn how to play. Now, to what extent they could advance would depend on how much they would practice, and what type of facility that they had, and what type of aptitude that they had for it. But I loved teaching, and I still love to teach basic piano. And I taught from ages 4 up to, I think my oldest student was 88 maybe at one point in time. So yeah, so you can still learn to play if you haven't learned yet. So that was my master's degree. Let me move on ahead a little bit. Then I decided to go for my doctorate as well, because I thought I love to learn, so why not? So my doctorate is in piano performance, pedagogy, and literature. And pedagogy, of course, is the teaching of piano in this case. And so that was what my main focus was. And so learned all this literature. Again, it was classical, classical, classical. Meanwhile, I'm in all kinds of churches. The church I went to at the time was an evangelical free church. And we were not just playing hymns or singing hymns, but we were playing all kinds of gospel songs and more modern worship songs. And so that was a whole new realm for me, because sometimes they would just give me words and like letters for chords and say, oh, play it. And I would say, how does it go? And they said, oh, well, just join in. And I'm like, well, I don't know. What is the melody? I don't. what's the rhythm? I was so stuck to the page. And so that was really good for me just to grow in that realm. Okay, need to play something again soon. Oh, so let me kind of demonstrate a little bit of that shift from just playing a 4-part hymn. So when you see a hymnal, there'll be 4 pitches that you play at the same time, 2 for your left hand and 2 for your right hand. And so that parallels what singers would do: soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So I'm going to play the first hymn that I was ever taught, which is Fairest Lord Jesus. And so I'll play it through once, exactly as it is on the page. And then I'll go back through and play it one more time, and I will elaborate on it. And so this is what I learned to do during my graduate studies, is just to make it sound a little more expressive, a little more modern in some ways. Okay. Feel free to sing along if you want. You sound great. I should have given you lyrics so you could sing. That was kind of an on the spot. Let's sing together. Means I just need to come back sometime and we do a hymn scene. Yeah. Okay. So I met my now husband of 26 years, Matt. He was doing an undergraduate degree while I was pursuing my doctorate degree. And so we were married. Oh boy, that was a long time ago. And are still very much happily married. We moved to Burbank so he could pursue a master's of divinity. And so he was in a seminary there, and I started to teach at Los Angeles City College and Los Angeles Valley College. So just adjunct work. I taught piano classes and ear training and music theory. I also worked for the Mind Institute. So this was out of the University of Irvine. Mind stands for Music Intelligence Neural Development. And so they created a curriculum to go into the schools and teach 2nd through 4th grade. They would teach them math skills with spatial temporal reasoning, and then we would have piano. So the piano was there to support the math learning. So it was a different approach. And I had to remind myself, I'm not here to create pianists. I'm here to help children see patterns in the music, both on the piano keyboard and in what they play. So I wrote some textbooks for them. I guess they're not really textbooks, piano books and instructional manuals. And they were used all over the state of California, and I think some in the East Coast and the Midwest as now. So, and then I also worked for PS Arts, which is public school arts. And so that actually was my first job when we were out in LA, because I couldn't get hired as a piano instructor. So, I shouldn't say that wasn't my first job. My first job was temp work, and I was stuffing envelopes. And I also got paid to sit in the studio audience of certain game shows. I don't know if you knew that. They actually pay people to go sit there to fill out the audience. And so that was an interesting time. and really did enjoy it. So was there. And so then public school arts, they would send music and dance and theater and visual art instructors into public schools where all those classes had been cut because of government funding being taken away. So I traveled and taught at various schools around the Los Angeles area. And that was to preschool through 6th grade. So, which I did not love, because again, I didn't love teaching little kids, but it was a job. And I had my first child. Yay. So that was, Lex is now 21 and a half. So, but that was, became a mother. Then we moved overseas. So Wanganui, New Zealand. This was my husband's first job out of seminary, was at a Baptist church there. And so when I moved over, I was just pregnant. And in case you're not sure where New Zealand is, there it is. So we were there, like I said, from 2003 to 2008. I was pregnant when we went, and we found out we were having triplets. So this was is an act of God. Yes, we can applaud that. We thought we were just having one. So yeah, surprise, surprise. So needless to say, I think that was God's way of saying, stay home, be a mom. I still taught piano. I played at church. But other than that, I thought, okay, for my career, my focus, my calling right now is to raise these kids. And so, yeah, so that was then triplets. So there are 2 identical that I have in my arms, and then Matt has the one that is a non-identical. So 2 types of a twinning happening there. So we decided if we were going to have more kids, we would adopt. So, because I did not want that wear and tear on my body. So there we are. When we first came back to the States, yeah, it was quite a time. Definitely a handful, like literally, right? But they are still the best of friends. And they're all home this summer. And this will be the last summer that I have them all home. Lex will be a senior at Purdue this fall. And then Marcus, Ethan, and Quinn will be juniors. Marcus is at Taylor. Ethan is at Purdue, and Quinn is at Ball State. So they're all spread around. And Marcus is engaged and will get married in October of this year. So that's why it's the last. Yeah, it's the last year. So this is our home in Wabash. So I homeschooled them up until they were in 4th grade because we moved back to the States and we wanted to get used to American life. And it just made a lot of sense. And so I did that. I was an adjunct at Huntington University. And then I worked at OJ Neighbors, which is kindergarten through 4th grade. I did that for about a year and a half, and then got hired at Manchester University as full-time. And was playing there for some events before that as well. So then we adopted kids. So I wanted to show you that. So this is my full family from the year 2012. So up in the top there, let me see if I can get this pointer to go. This one. Okay. So there's Matt. He's still bald, but he has a big beard now. My son, Dylan, who just turned 26. My daughter, Kim, who just turned 28 and was just married 2 weeks ago. And then my daughter, Kennedy, who is 24. And then, like I said, Lex will soon be 22 and they're 20. So I'll show you a current photo here in a little bit. There's a current photo. So my son, Dylan, is not in this picture, but Kim's husband, Jordy, is right here. And then Marcus, his fiance, Raina, is here. So yeah. So there they are. Can you see the twins in the back? Yeah. Well, twins out of the triplets, right? So it's been a really good life, and we're getting close to our time here. And like I said, I definitely would love to come back and play some more because I didn't know I didn't do a ton. I'll play one more thing, but just to kind of go on to show you just the richness of my life. This is one of my first photos at Manchester, headshot. And my dream after my first dream was to play with orchestra at some point in time. And so check that box, right? And then my next dream after I had finished my undergraduate degree was to teach at a higher ed institution. But once and then I did for, part-time adjunct work. But then when I had all these kids, I thought that ship has sailed. I'm not going to be a full-time, professor. But then here we are. And so, yeah. So now I'll have to tell you too. So I started off as a music professor, but now my title is assistant dean of academic affairs. And so I oversee study away, study abroad. So taking the helm from Thelma Rohr here. And so I did such a fantastic job with that. And then I also am director of the honors program and then whatever else academic affairs needs. So it's been a year of me not playing as much. So having an opportunity like this to come and play for you is very much needed for my heart and my soul. So thank you. So just some pictures from the past, some of my colleagues that are there. Here's Emily Lynn, so Joe's granddaughter, Joe and Norma, yeah, performing on stage. We've had so many guest artists I get a chance to perform with, and I love that. This is at my home, just before church, I think one day, hence the wet hair. So playing, this was, I believe, at Fairfield High School. We had a guest artist and I went and performed there. Getting prepared to do opera, which I did a lot with Joe's daughter, Deborah Lynn, who used to teach there as well. There's Deborah with me, and I couldn't thank her enough because she's the reason that I came to Manchester as well. So, and Danny Belcher. So like I said, it's been a fantastic life, and there's a lot more life to live. And the second half of life, I don't know what it has in store, but I'm thankful for my job and for my family. I don't want grandkids anytime soon. Can hold off on that. But I want to play one more piece for you. We are a little bit over time, so I hope that's fine. Okay, thank you. This is an arrangement of His Eye is on the Sparrow, and it's one of my favorite ones. And I just love that whole lyric. His eye is on the sparrow, but I know he watches me. And so I hope you can just take that with you today to know that you are being watched and you are loved and that we have music as our great gift. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Oh, I love that arrangement so much. It's an arrangement by Mark Hayes. And this is another thing. I don't play by ear well. I don't necessarily arrange things well. So I'm so grateful for those that do, because then I can read their notes and play it and bring it to life. So thank you so much. And again, like I said, I would be happy to come back again sometime and do another program or bring some of our students to play as well, to give them an opportunity to do so. Thank you so much. I'll be around afterwards if